But yeah, here he is in his stupid little outfit. I'm glad that they made up. Happy for them. Glad they're a mature enough couple to work through their issues like this. Hey besties, it's Newt, back again with another Animal Crossing speed build. It's a gorgeous, sunny, rainy day on Nautilus today, and as you can see, we're outside of my bestie Bo's house. And as you can see, there's this lovely river leading into a waterfall, leading into some terraforming above it. And I am going to destroy all of that. I'm going to turn it into a lake. Fingers crossed that I'm actually able to do that, because I'm not actually sure if I'm going to be capable of doing that. But you know what? You won't know until you try. So today we are going to try. I don't know if this is going to be a part 1, if I'm going to be able to get this all done in one video. We'll see. You guys will know because you'll see the title. But we're gonna get some terraforming done today. I imagine it's gonna be a lot of destroying because, as you can see back here, there's an entire orchard, as well as just like a whole bunch of mess. We have a bridge. We have a lot going on back here. So it's gonna take some time to demolish some things. I'll put a timestamp for once the speed build actually gets going for those of you who don't want to watch me demolish a bunch of stuff. But yeah, we're gonna do some demolishing. We're gonna do some building. It's gonna be chill. So stick around, grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's get right into it. Hello again, besties. It's Newt from several days later, and yes, this is going to be multiple parts because building a lake is very hard, and I am slow. But that's okay, because the struggle is part of the process. Speaking of part of the process, I'm going to be cleaning up this area for quite a bit, so if you are bored by that and want to skip straight to the terraforming and building a lake, you can skip to the timestamp I'm going to put right here. But if you just want to listen to me talk, you can stick around, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But for now, we're just cleaning up this area. I cut out a lot of me going back and forth, like up and down, but I guess that part I left in. But yes, I threw away a lot of flowers that I'm not using anymore. I picked up all these items. I did a speed build of this garden area a long time ago on my channel. I'm not going to link it, but you can find it if you want to. I mean, I think it's a good video. It's just old. But she's cute. It's my orchard, so she's cute, but we've moved on from her. We've evolved past the need for orchard. I actually have an idea of how I'm going to put my fruit trees on my island for a different speed build, but for this one we are demolishing, and it's out with the old, in with the new, besties. And I'm very excited to show you what I have so far. I actually ended up moving Bo's house again. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, Bo and I are best friends again. We used to be enemies. Ooh, I'm gonna catch a tarantula. Look at this. Look at this. I got him. There we go. But yes, Bo and I are no longer enemies. Oh, Wisp was hanging out with me. I remember this. This was fun. We're friends again. As of my last speed build, that was a really great change, turn of events on my island. Genji and Marshall also are back together, and so are Fuchsia and Coco. My island is just so peaceful right now. Actually, one thing you are going to see in this video is apparently Genji said something that set Marshall off, and he had to apologize, but Marshall forgave him, so I'm assuming it was just some sort of, I don't know, lover's quarrel that happened. But yeah, there's very little drama happening on the island right now. The only drama is me procrastinating on building. That's the drama. I'm the drama. I'm the drama. But yes, that is a little island update for you for Nautilus. I imagine in the coming weeks, as I continue with my Sims LP, link in the card for my last Sims speed build, where I did Coco and Genji's apartment, there will be much more drama. My island right now, though, pretty chill. It's, like I said, the only drama is me procrastinating on building and struggling to build. That's pretty much it. And making a big mess everywhere and putting objects all over the ground. That's pretty much it. But yeah, we're finally, it's so satisfying having this completely clear. My biggest concern when building this lake, and I'll put in the reference images. I'll put in the reference images right now. These are some reference images that I found on Instagram. Shout out to these cool folks who made these awesome builds. But I was really concerned that I wasn't going to have enough space to create a lake and to have like the trees bordering it and have like the different levels and stuff. And now I think I actually might have. I was demolishing this bridge. Rip to this bridge. She was an OG. That's why I cried when I demolished her. But yes, I was concerned about not having enough space to do what I wanted to do with this build, because last time I attempted to build a lake, you might see a little bit of that in this video. You can definitely see some of it in my Maddie's Island video, which I'll also link in the card. We'll see how long the Maddie's Island lasts. I do in fact have plans for Maddie's house that may or may not involve her island being destroyed. Anyways, based on the sort of negative experience I had with my first lake attempt, I was nervous to try it again because I really wasn't sure if I had enough space for it. But I realized after I demolished this area, especially because it's on the second level predominantly, that I had way more space than I thought, and I think my lake is actually slightly too big. I could afford to make it smaller. So essentially what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be working on this general shape of the lake, and we're also going to move Bo's house. We're just going to get like a general idea of like where everything is, and then we're going to decorate it with some stunted trees and some wheat fields and some shrubs and some flowers. And then hopefully in the next installment, we can do a better job of decorating Bo's yard. And we're going to work on the perimeter areas of the lake. And I picked that as like a cutoff point for this build, just because I realized that is when the build was going to become a lot more complex. Just making sure that I got all of the views right, if that makes sense. Like when you're looking at the lake from like whatever viewpoint I make the most accessible for a visitor to my island, whether it's like the dock next to Butch's house or like the bit of terraforming that is going to go where Bo's house used to be, wherever you're looking at the lake from. I just wanted to make sure that everything was visually appealing and like interesting, like it drew your eye, like you could see the different heights and the layers of the trees and Bo's house and like the layers with the terraforming and the wheat fields and all of that. I wanted to make sure that you could see all of that. That was essentially what I was going for. And even though I got like a basic grasp of how I wanted it to look in this initial build, there's definitely some things that are going to take me like a significant amount of time and brain power to figure out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be kind to myself and I'm just going to make it 2 parts. So that means more build for you. And also it gives me more time to like adjust things and get things exactly as I wanted. And also to ask you guys for feedback or any suggestions that you have about this area. In particular, with this area, I am torn between if I want to make Butch's house a farm and Bo's house a junkyard, or if I want to reverse them and make Butch's house a junkyard and Bo's house a farm. It's a sort of a similar situation with Bob's Convenience Store. Oh my god, link in the card. That video popped off. Y'all like that video, and I agree because it's a good video. But it's sort of a similar situation to that, where it's like, would I trust Bo to sell me food? Okay, this isn't like a me hating on Bo thing, because like I said, Bo's my best friend now. We're no longer enemies. I love him, but it's, you know, I love Bob too. Bob and I have always been friends. Bob and I were never enemies. It's just that I don't know if I trust him with food products, if that makes sense. But I also really like the idea of like a grumpy old man like Butch owning a junkyard. I think that's really cute. So let me know in the comments what you think. I'm kind of leaning towards Bo having the junkyard, though I guess I could also swap their houses, though that would also sort of ruin my neighborhood layout. I'm thinking of moving Maddie's house back to where it used to be, next to Butch's house across the river, because, you know, that's like her dad, as he is also my dad, as we all know, of course. Ooh, I'm starting the lake. This is exciting. Since I had way more room than I did in my previous lake build, I was actually able to like think about the shape and how I wanted it to look. And essentially it's just like sort of like a oval, or more of like a diamond sort of shape, where the sides sort of go outwards and then come back in on the other side to like make it look like an exaggerated circle when you're looking at it from the front, which is where you would probably be looking at it from most of the time, if that makes sense. You'll see later. I'm going to show my map view, I think, during this video several times. But yes, let me know in the comments. I am leaning towards having Bo own the junkyard, just because Butch already has a farm, so it'd be very easy to like adjust his farm as I need, and to have Bo take over junkyard duties. I did also move his house where it was just because he lives in a log cabin, so it was very convenient for me to put him in the woods. But I could also just make anyone's house a log cabin and then move Bo's house back to where it was before, or like switch his house with Butch's house. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I am very excited though to see how this all turns out. You know what? Maybe I won't even have a house back there, but I do kind of like the view of the lake with the house. It's kind of nice, isn't it? But yeah, here we are once again doing some demolition, some terraforming. This is when the actual shape of the lake starts to take shape, I guess. This side, the lake sort of rubs up against the cliff, and then on the other side, there's like a little space you can sort of scoot by and get to Bo's house. I'm thinking of adjusting the area behind Bob's house. I have ideas for what's going to go back there, just to make it so that you can like get back there like feasibly with like the roads. So, you know, if he did have a junkyard, you could be able to like reach it. I guess having Bo's house be the junkyard kind of reminds me of the junkyard near my old house that I used to live in when I was like in middle school. We lived near the junkyard. That's so flattering. Memories of middle school. I remember walking home and walking like, listen, I had a neighbor who they didn't own a junkyard. I mean like literal, like when I say I lived by the junkyard, I mean like the dump, like where you put your trash. But I had another neighbor who had a bunch of like old rusty vintage cars and machinery outside of his house, and I used to walk by his house when I would sneak home from school. And by sneak, I mean I would get off the bus like halfway through the bus ride because the bus took forever to get to my house because I had to go down to every single winding road that wasn't my road before it went down my road. So I'd get off the bus super early, and then I'd just like cut through the middle of the woods and a bunch of people's yards to walk home. Yeah, there's a little story for you. There's a little Natalie lore for you. Ooh, speaking of lore, I remember this part of my island, this little area where you could look out over the ocean and sit and have a drink. I thought this was the cutest thing in the world when I first built it. And honestly, looking at it, it is still the cutest thing in the world. And I'm gonna miss it. But there it goes. It's gone now. Same with all of my cute, like, Halloween stuff that I had back here. When I was going, like, crazy, like, actual, like, cottagecore, like, whimsical vibes. You know, I want my island to be much more grounded and a lot less whimsical than that, but it was cute. Once again, it was a moment. Okay, girlies who can pull off a super whimsical like fairy core cottagecore vibe, hats off to you. That's not me. I don't know how to do that. I'm not that girl, and I had to figure that out the hard way, and now I'm demolishing a huge part of my island. See, I see flattening is nice because you can literally just like mindlessly destroy everything on your island. Like you don't have to worry about like keeping things. But when you're not fully flattening an island and you're just like destroying it piece by piece as you rebuild it, it's sort of like a, ooh, should I get rid of this type of feeling? That's how I felt doing this, of like, this is gonna be really annoying if I get rid of this and I have to rebuild it. So you just have to like consider. Also, once again, I'm running out of space in my storage and I'm stubborn and I don't want to pay for that last storage upgrade even though I have the money and I could. So I spent a lot of my time building, just like emptying out my storage so I could put more stuff in it. But that's my own L. I need to take a minute to clean my storage out because that's embarrassing. Gotta get my storage straight. Here's a reminder to you besties to straighten out your storage in your Animal Crossing game right now. Okay, did you do it? Are you doing it? Okay, good. Here I am demolishing this incline. This incline is not nearly as old as that bridge was, so there was no fanfare for her. She's just gone. But you know what? That's okay, because like I said earlier, it's out with the old, in with the new, right, besties? We're spring cleaning. This is a spring cleaning video, because it's March now, in my game, because I time traveled, and I got a guy. I always forget to dig for those, especially after it rains. Ooh, but yeah, I think by the time this goes up, because it's late again, but I'm not, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyways, I think by the time that this goes up, it will be spring in your guys' games as well. So if you open your game, the snow should be gone. Even if you don't time travel, I think it's the 25th, but I could be wrong. But yes, the snow should be gone. You can enjoy Festival snow-free. Say hi to Pave for me. But yes, snow gone. Spring cleaning is upon us. The grass is back. the greenery has returned, and this is my call to you, besties. This is your motivation to work on your island now that spring has sprung. Even if it means just cleaning out your storage, or I don't know, demolishing an area that you don't really care for, or whatever. You know, do something on your island. This is my motivation to you, I guess. Listen, if I can work up the courage to work on this enormous lake build, then you can work up the courage to, I don't know, decorate a little bit of your beach. That's my challenge to you. Ooh, incredible segue, amazing segue. Speaking of challenge, if all goes as according to plan, I am going to be starting my Sims Legacy on stream the day that this video goes up. And if you're watching this in the future, that will probably be turned into a video by now that you can watch and enjoy at your leisure. Same with the stream VOD of my birthday celebration where I toured your guys' builds. That will probably also be up very, very soon. So be on the lookout for those. I'm very excited for both of those. I have to finish editing that. That stream is so long. And editing videos like that is so hard. See, like when I'm doing a speed build, I can just like relax and like put on another video in the background and just build, which I imagine some of you are doing to this video right now, which as such, I'm so flattered. Like that's my dream in life, is to make something that someone else listens to in the background while they like clean their house or like builds in Animal Crossing or The Sims or something. And now look at me, I'm living my dream. But yeah, editing videos where I'm talking the entire time and I'm editing my own voice, oh my god, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. I'm so bad at that. But yeah, I'm gonna do it for you guys and to show off your amazing builds that you did. But yeah, Sims Let's Play hype. For those of you who don't know, I'm doing a legacy challenge in The Sims 4 based off of my Animal Crossing villagers. I just finished making the household for Marshall and Chatter. For those of you who don't know from my New Leaf Town Tour video, Chatter, it was my husband in New Leaf, and he's making a comeback in The Sims LP as possibly he's going to be probably my husband. But yes, I just finished making them in Create-A-Sim, and I'm going to be building their house very soon, so that will probably be the next Sims 4 speed build that goes up, and I'm super duper excited for that. He came out so good. They both came out really good. I'm so excited to show them to you guys. I've been having so much fun transferring my villagers into The Sims. Ooh. Here is the somewhat final shape of my lake on the map. As you can see, it's sort of football-esque, or like lemon-esque. But yeah, that was essentially the shape that I went for, and I think that it turned out pretty well. I think I'm going to do some slight adjustments, especially to like add more trees to the outside of the lake, and maybe make the lake smaller, but the general shape, I think, turned out pretty successful. And I think that the lemon shape really helps make the lake look bigger than it is, sort of like an optical illusion, and then also it allows me to like fill out more of the outside with those trees, like I said, to make it look like it's really tucked into the forest, which I think is really nice. But yeah, from this point forward, it's just a lot of adjusting. It was a lot of just like fidgeting with like little bits of terraforming so I could fit a tree. I thought about doing the trick where you like use waterfalls to plant a tree on an area where you're not supposed to. But maybe I'll do that in the future. I'm not sure if I'm smart enough to figure out how that works. But we'll see. Maybe, future me. We'll see what I decide to do, but for now, I just put all the trees normally, and there's a part of this video where I stunt a bunch of trees. For those of you who don't know, you can adjust in the same way that in Happy Home Paradise, you can adjust the heights of the trees and like how big they are. You can do that on your island by planting a sapling, and then waiting for it to grow to the level that you want. So either like 1 day of growth, 2 days, 3 days. Normally I do 3 days because I think it looks really natural. It like looks like a fully grown tree, just like slightly smaller. But yeah, you wait for them to grow, and then you plant a fruit tree in proximity to that tree, to that slightly grown sapling, and then it will stunt the growth and it won't grow anymore. So there's my quick tree stunting tutorial. It's not super complicated. There are other people who have likely done tutorials on it. But you'll see it in this video. I do it a lot. I do it for like I think, almost did like a dozen trees at once. And unfortunately, one of them did fail. I didn't bother to like check to make sure they were all in spots where they were going to grow. I was like really confident that they were all in spots where they were going to grow. And then I time traveled 3 days to get them to the size I wanted. And then one of them hadn't grown. So I was like, oh, that's not that big of a loss. If it had been multiple trees, I probably would have time traveled more to finish it. But yeah, it was just one, which I think is pretty successful for if I intended to stunt like 12 or 13 trees and then one of them decided not to grow. You know, that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm mostly just adjusting little bits of terraforming so I can get these fully grown trees in the spots that I want. And I think, we're about to move Bo's house. As you can see, I'm checking like the angles just to make sure it looks good when you use the camera. We're about to move Bo's house. I realized that I got into a point where I wanted to see what Bo's house would look like on the shore of the lake before I proceeded. Here I am carving out a little bit more of the lake. I honestly might even make it smaller now that I think about it, but yeah, we're about to move Bo's house. Like I said earlier, I decided to move his house for a number of reasons, one of which being that he lives in a log cabin, and it would be cute to have a log cabin in the forest. Look at him in his little pajamas. I love not being mad at him anymore. It's really freeing for me emotionally. But yeah, I moved his house specifically because it was that log cabin design, and like I said, I'm not fully married to the idea of having his house by the lake, but I do like it. I like the view that it provides, and I wanted to move it before I continued, specifically with this tree stunting, so that I knew like where I wanted to put the tree to either like obscure his house or to frame it or to accent it or something like that. I just wanted to see what it looked like in the space before I continued. So I'm just saying the lake a little bit more. I think that I bumped that area out a little bit again to fit a tree over there. Ooh, I time traveled a day ahead and I had a campsite villager and it was Rod, and I think he's really cute. Some people don't like the mice. I don't like some of them, but Rod I think he's adorable. Look at his dumb little pirate outfit. I love it. But yes, that was our quick little detour to visit Rod. And I think that I do one more detour in this video because I did catch Genji and Marshall on film. That is how their argument that I mentioned earlier, that is how I know that happened. Because Genji approached me and asked me to bring Marshall a gift, which I think is very sweet. How chivalrous of him. What a chivalrous guy. But yeah, here I am placing down all of the trees that I want to stunt. I mixed in normal saplings and the pine trees. And for the most part, I'm quite pleased with how the tree variety turned out and all the places that they ended up going. I ended up moving some of my current trees around a little bit just to make room for all of the saplings, because even though they are smaller than normal trees, they do need the space of a normal tree in order to grow. Look how nice that is. Unfortunately, the day that I ended this on, it was raining, but I think it still looks nice in the rain. And since it's part 1, I'm not as worried about the final product being in the rain. But when we do finally finish this area, I will get video of it when it's sunny like this and it's really pretty. I actually recorded a ton of this in the early morning, like between like maybe like 5:30 and 9 a.m. and that was a really fun hour to record at because, you know, I had to time travel to a little later in the morning to go to Nook's Cranny and get all of the saplings that I needed to plant. But for the most part, I could just enjoy the peace and quiet of the early morning in the game, and it was really beautiful. So there's another pro tip for you if you're having a little bit of builder's block and you're not sure what to do in your game. Try building at like odd hours of the day, like really early in the morning, whether it's like nighttime, like 1 a.m. or like 5 a.m. when the day rolls over. Try building that instead of building in the middle of the day. It might help clear your head a little bit, and also the music is less obnoxious. If you're listening to the in-game music while you build. You know what is interesting is I'm actually recording this voiceover in real life at 5 a.m. because that is when there are the least cars, but there's still cars. So think about that, besties. Think about that. This is actually not even the ideal recording time. The ideal recording time for me is honestly more of like 3 or 4 a.m. when there's like really no cars, or Sunday mornings at like 10 in the morning. 5 or 6 a.m. is like when people start commuting to work, and that's when the noise starts. But this build, like I said, took me longer than I expected. Ooh, this is that tree that ended up not growing because I'm dumb and I placed it in the wrong spot. But I moved it, and it'll grow eventually. But yeah, I needed to give this build the time that it deserved, which is why I'm recording right now. But this is the view from Butch's little dock that I built for him. Ooh, and now we're getting into Genji Marshall. So obviously I was in the plaza. I think I was going to Nook's Cranny to buy more saplings, and Genji approached me with this conundrum where he and Marshall got in an argument. I think it's very mature of Genji that he admitted that he was at fault and that he was being too stubborn, and that he needed to apologize. It's very, very sweet of him, knowing Marshall, especially. There's a very high likelihood that it was Marshall's fault and not Genji's fault. But you know what? Genji is no saint, okay? We know that from the fact that he refuses to pick a side of who he's going to end up dating. But here I am delivering Marshall's gift from his man's. It was, if I remember correctly, it was like an elf costume or something. I didn't know that Genji was into LARPing, but maybe that's a good intersection of his and Marshall's interests. Genji loves to work out, maybe a little fake sword fighting. Marshall loves to act. So maybe that's a perfect marriage of their interests, and is actually a very sweet and romantic gift, even if Marshall looks absolutely ridiculous in it. Also, the assertion that Marshall pushed Genji too far, he probably did, I can imagine. Oh yeah, and Marshall gave me a tuna sushi costume as a reward. Thank you, Marshall, really appreciate it. Yeah, it isn't everyone's cup of tomato juice, including mine, but yeah, here he is in his stupid little outfit. I'm glad that they made up, happy for them, glad they're a mature enough couple to work through their issues like this. But I just thought that was a little bit of Nautilus update for you, because the drama's been a little slow recently, so we needed that. But yes, here is a quick little map update, and then we're going to jump right back into the tree planting portion of this. And like I said before, it's a lot of little bit of adjusting here and there, just making sure that I can fit all of the trees, that they're going to grow properly. The things that required the most adjusting were the terraforming, specifically like the cliffs, and making sure that the trees on the second level and the third level were also sort of fitting into the view from the first level when you're actually on the lake. That has so far been the most challenging part of this, just getting all of the trees to fit properly. And that is why I'm so tempted to do that trick where you use the waterfalls to put the trees on the edge of the cliff. I'm still thinking about doing that, and if like I said, it might happen in the next video. We'll see. I'll have to look up a tutorial for that again, because I watched one like a long time ago and completely forgot how to do it. That would definitely help, though, in terms of maximizing the amount of space that I have, especially on the ground, because obviously I want to be able to traverse this area so I can go visit Bo's house and see all of the things that I want to see and all of that. And this area that you see, this little L-shaped cliff coming off the side, that is likely going to be expanded at some point, and I'm planning on putting a ladder going up there to encourage you to look at the lake from that viewpoint, because it's in a perfect spot for you to see the entire lake build if I adjust it properly. Here I am experimenting with using the third level a little bit. I wanted to add even more height and depth to the build, so that is why I decided to build a tiny little cliff here to build a tree, or build a tree, oh my god, to put a tree on top. I also was really stubborn about getting rid of the weeds, which is why I was struggling to build the cliff, but I had to move my green mums, which was fine, and then I built up this little area here. I also kind of wish that I had more space in the back, because I like having that be super accessible, to sneak back towards my secret beach, but it's whatever, and it still works. So I don't really mind it. But yeah, I was just building that up there. Look at that cute little anthill. That is why I have those two, what are they called? Spoiled turnips. By the way, that's why I've kept them, because I want to make anthills. But I haven't figured out where. I was originally going to put one on my playground, but obviously I did not do that. So we'll have to see where I end up putting it. Maybe I will put one on the playground. Who knows? I used to have my aunts next to my beach picnic outside my house a long time ago. So maybe I'll put them back on the beach when I do my next beach build. How does the Marta know when I'm recording? Every time, it's not even the hour that I'm recording at. How does the Marta know the second that I stop editing and go to record the voiceover part, the Marta pulls up outside my house? How, it's like the bus in SpongeBob. How does it know? Honestly, I can't even believe we're 30 minutes into this. This is why I need to give myself a part 2, because look how slow I am at building. And I don't know. I guess it's a combination of I'm slow and I'm bad at editing, and like the way that I build isn't conducive to editing because I'm just like all over the place and I'm just adjusting things constantly. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's rough. It's rough. But you know, we're gonna get to the part where I time travel and you see all the little trees, and then we stun all the trees, and it'll be great. It'll be super fun. Look at all the little trees. They're so cute. Oh, here I am checking the view. Yeah, you gotta check your views, but that's another pro tip. Constantly check the views to make sure you're doing what you want it to look like. You're doing what you want it to look like. Wow. Okay, cool. Grammar on point today. You know, this really bodes well for me streaming later today if I end up doing that. Like, really. Oh my god. Ooh, yay, we're about to time travel to see all the stunted trees. Look at them. Look at the beautiful early morning light. The light outside of Bo's house is glowing. The fish are swimming. The trees are little and cute, and we're planting some cherries behind them. Like I said, you plant a fruit tree specifically, so just grab any fruit, plant it in the ground. It'll create a sapling. And that will stunt the tree, so it will not grow. This is the one that got away, the one that didn't grow, and I'm very upset. But, you know, actually I'm not that upset. I ended up just moving this other stunted tree that I had, and I might actually clear the trees out from behind Bo's house and just have it be grass back there, because I think it might look nicer that way. But yeah, that's how it ended up. I think it looks really, really cute. I'm just going to go around and stunt all these bad boys so they stay their current size, and I think that it adds a lot of interest, like visual interest to the area when the trees are different heights. I'm really glad that I started doing that, because every time that there's like a cool new like hack or like thing that people are doing, I feel like I'm always slow to adopt it. Not that I am opposed to it, but just that like I don't understand how to do it, and I'm too nervous to ask, so I just don't. But I'm glad that I started doing more like building tricks like that, because, you know, I do them in The Sims, so like why can't I do them in Animal Crossing, you know? Think about that. And there's more motivation for you, besties. Do something you've never done before in Animal Crossing. Try something different. Try something new. If I could do it, and I'm dumb, you could do it. Think about that. Oh yeah, I was shrinking the lake a little bit so I could put that tree closer. That's what I intended it to look like before it decided not to grow. But it's okay because I figured it out. But yeah, this is sort of what it looks like in the end. Oh, and I caught this butterfly. What did I say last speed build about the butterflies? There he is. There's not a lot of hybrids around though, so there's less of them in this video. Ooh, final map check. There's a little lake view for you. That's the shape of the lake at this point. Like I said, subject to change. Everything on my island is subject to change, always. I keep thinking, like, when will my island be done? And maybe it never will. Maybe I'll just keep working on Nautilus forever, and it'll be like my purgatory that I've created for myself. You know what the purgatory I created for myself was? It was picking resident services that's directly next to the airport but not in line with it. That was the purgatory that I picked for myself, besties. But you know what? This is my island from day one, and I'm not restarting it, so I'll figure it out. I think that my entrance looks pretty good, and I'm going to adjust it slightly, but for the most part, I think my entrance, she kind of ate, and I like her a lot. I think I did the best that I could with what I dealt myself. Not even what I was dealt, but what I chose. What I chose without knowing what I was getting myself into. Oh yeah, here we are adding the little decorations. I wanted this area to be traversable, like I said, so I took a big advantage of the wheat fields. I also incorporated different colors of the wheat fields, so I used these darker green ones in the darker areas, like the areas where there would be shadows and it's like deeper. I used the darker green, and then when it's closer to the edge of the lake or the front of the lake, I used the lighter green to create sort of a sense of depth with the colors of the wheat fields, if that makes sense. And I think that it looks really nice, and it also makes it easy to walk around, so I appreciate that. Ooh, but here's some upsetting news for you. You can see me decorating with the wheat fields over on the left side of the lake right now. So pay close attention, besties, because I didn't even lose the footage. I just forgot to hit record when I decorated the right side of the lake. So I'll show you guys a quick sort of rundown of how the area turned out. It's very similar to the left side where, like I said, I put the darker green wheat fields behind and then the lighter green ones in front, and I mixed them up a little bit with the shrubs and then later with some flowers. And, you know, I layered them, not necessarily, oh, there I am, upset. Marshall's with me too. I blame him. But I layered them and I offset them slightly so they weren't perfectly squared off in all the areas. Here I am throwing some more wheat fields down. Very useful. like I said, pretty goated item. I still am have an attachment for the utility pole, as you can tell, as my favorite item in the game. But you know, Weedfield's up there. Weedfield's definitely up there. Marshall was so he was so in the way when I was doing that. I was so annoyed. But you know, he's cute, and he has this little matching umbrella and with his outfit, which I think is very adorable. Gave Bo his doormat back, and I think that I put the blocks down and then I moved them because I wasn't sure about them. But I want him to have his little blocks. He's a baby, you know. He deserves. I feel bad about moving him so far away from the playground, but you know what? He's still close enough to it, and he'll live. And Maddie will be close to the playground. It'll be great. Oh yeah, here I am putting my green mums around. Finally got a chance to use them. The only flowers that I plan on using on my island besides the purple and blue hyacinths are green and white mums, and then I'll find places to disperse my lily of the valleys that I have from my past of having a 5-star island. Oh, and I might keep these black tulips. I like the black tulips. I think they match Butch's house nicely. Oh yeah, we're about to come to the end of the build. Yay, look at me. Part 1 is over. Look at that. Wow. Amazing. We did it, besties. Look at us. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, this is part 1 of hopefully what is a 2-part build series. In the next part, I'm going to work more on decorating. We're going to fully decorate Bo's house, which with whatever that ends up being. I'm really leaning towards garbage dump, but let me know in the comments what you guys think it should be. I'm going to work on the perimeter of the lake as well, really getting that down. But this was just like a beginning of the lake, so you guys could see my process and see sort of the shape that it took. I think that the shape of the water is really what drove this build for me, and it sort of made it clear in my mind, if that makes sense. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 2. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe and hit the bell and all of those nice things. And I'll see you all again on Saturday. Bye! Also, when I say Saturday, like, I really mean it, besties. Like, I swear this time for real, it's gonna be actually on time.